start our adventure a little after 8 headed to Georgia, but we need to stop somewhere first. Through the rolling plains and then the interstates of Alabama, we head to Irondale. The Union Pacific locomotive that was attached to the other one was vandalized. We moved over to the other side of the tracks where a high green signal was awaiting us. The high green was not for this local, but for the train right beside him. The operation they're doing is pulling past the switch and then switching tracks. While we were in Irondale, we could eat at the Irondale Cafe when I would get fried catfish, beans, and rice. As Danny Harmon says, it was delicious. While I was eating, this Union Pacific train snuck up on me. Did I realize about the Norfolk Southern train right beside him too. Norris Yard, one of the biggest classification yards in Alabama, where all trains from Birmingham and Atlanta come in and pick up and drop off cars. Vernon Stidham, a local Railfanning, is now honored at Irondale for giving his personality. Kansas City Southern Locomotive is leading a Norfolk Southern train out of Birmingham.
Fill my glasses. Norfolk Southern. Here, so you can see.
Fun fact about this locomotive, it's from Mexico, so it's a long way from home. On our way north on I-85, we stopped in Anniston, Alabama to sit at the Amtrak station, but we didn't see anything, so we moved on after that. Finally, we made it to our destination, Austell, Georgia. A little bit later after we showed up, the intermodal local was pulling cars into Whitmaker Intermodal Terminal just down the road. Minutes later, a northbound Norfolk Southern manifest was headed to Birmingham. A little while after the northbound, a southbound manifest came headed to Atlanta with a rail grain unit trailing second. A little while after the southbound, a Norfolk Southern auto-rack local was being led by a BNSF SG-70 Ace. Up before sunrise the next morning, and we left the hotel just in time to see a BNSF coal train in the early morning light. If you're looking for a place to stay and watch trains all day, Austell is the place to do it. The city board has put a Railfanning plaza right next to the busy main line. A little over a 2-hour wait and our next train appeared, a Norfolk Southern Intermodal heading to the terminal. Parrott Avenue, where all trains going into and out of Atlanta go by. We wouldn't see anything this day, so we'd move on after this. Hutchinson Drive, a crossing just down the road from Austell, where the two main tracks go north. A yellow approach signal would greet me as a BNSF coal train came flying around the corner at Austell. Another yellow approach signal would greet me, but as we waited, we watched the intermodal local pull out and step forward. The loco was being shoved and pulled by a SP-60E, a locomotive I don't get to see very often. At 1:50 p.m., here came the train I've been waiting for. In Norfolk Southern Manifest, that was also going fast. I'm assuming this train was a power move, judging by all the locomotives. It moved back up to Austell when the southbound manifest came by. The action here at Austell just never seems to stop. Just a little bit after the manifest, here came one from Irondale. The leading locomotive on this train had a foul horn, and I could tell. This train also has some old southern wood chip gondolas. As I said earlier, the action here never seems to stop. Just a little bit later, a solo ST-70 Ace was leading a manifest. He also has some Tropicana juice cars, which I was not expecting. I'm assuming they're going to 40. I had heard over the radio that there was a train with a hot axle. What I didn't know is his head end was just around the corner. pushing those intermodal cars around was now pulling out and going to somewhere else. I didn't know what he was doing, but we'll find out later. Just after the local got out of sight, a Norfolk Southern auto rack train was headed north. Next up through Austell, a Union Pacific intermodal train. How about that? After the Union Pacific Intermodal, a northbound manifest came through. Well, the local came back. He went to go get more local and intermodal cars. This was near 7 p.m. He went out late. I was joined by a few Railfanners today, and it was nice to have somebody to talk to that knew what I was talking about.
No, that's the website, and then that's the.
It's now the next morning, and when we get there, there's a manifest coming.
Oh, it's gonna blow all right.
I had no idea there was a stop train on the other side of this guy, but when it went by, I saw him. I was surprised when I saw what engine was on the rear of the train, an SB-78. After him, another intermodal train came. I thought it was the local, but I was wrong. Well, what do you know? There's another stop train on the exact same track as the last one. He wouldn't be going yet as another BNSF coal train appeared from the south. The stop train has let the two other trains go by, so now it's his turn. Our last train at Austell will be the Amtrak Crescent, headed to New Orleans.
I got an Amtrak, so let's go. Yep.
Yeah. Our next stop, Locust Grove. Sadly, due to a 2-hour train blockage, we didn't see anything. Manchester, Georgia, a big CSX stop along the line. We would get a good look at the Manchester train watching platform, but sadly we didn't see anything other than that one train. Last stop, Montgomery, Alabama, a place I've been to before on this channel. When we got there, a Kansas City Southern locomotive was pulling a manifest into the yard. After he pulled into the yard, we didn't stay around much longer. I hope y'all enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.